goes out to you, you. This goes out to you. This goes out to you. This goes out to you and you. This goes out to you. This goes out to you.
Hello world. Yeah, I've been there before. On the edge of the ledge. Eyes focused on floor. I've grown a lot since lost love and found more. Trying to be a better me. Quit smoking Newports.
Oh, hey! I was trying to pick something off my... What's going on, guys? Welcome to this week's edition of Grown Talk with Goddess. I'm back in the studio. Yay! And we had a good time last week.
We had a blast.
Yes,
Thank you.
I look forward to doing that again.
We're going to real soon.
Okay. I had a really good time. I mean, the sad part now is that after having an endoscopy this week, I found out that I can no longer drink liquor. So
shit.
We can have events in bars. I'm just going to be the one that drinks apple juice and water and be sober. And I got my little Sprite over here, so I'm good.
You got your spray, you good.
It just doesn't feel right doing this sober, but I did it a whole 9 months that way, so I can't be upset.
Right.
Just got to keep moving. Well, what's good, everybody?
Oh, I'm sorry. What up, Tony? In the building. I apologize. Tonight was totally on me. I got so much going on right now. I moved and all kinds of shit. Like, we're sitting here now. We've been here since like 6:45, 6:50, and I'm thinking Goddess's show is at 7:30, so we're just sitting here waiting. And then Tone hits like, where are you? I'm like, yes. Oh, shit. So, sorry. What's good, Project? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on? All right, so as many of you know, and I've been very open about it, I've been dealing with a breakup.
Really? We didn't know.
And I've been trying to deal with it the best I can. I've been throwing innuendos, and for people who doesn't know what an innuendo is, it's a very sophisticated word for subliminal messages on Facebook, basically just telling people to leave me the fuck alone. I don't want to be bothered. You know how it is, or maybe some of you guys don't, like the first couple of weeks after a breakup, you get a text message, you go to your phone, you thinking that it's him or them, and it don't be. It be somebody asking a dumb fucking question. Or it be somebody who just want to bother you. So I have asked numerous times that if you can help not to call me, don't call me, text me. If you text me and I feel like responding back, I will. If I don't, then just leave it at that. Leave me alone. And that's how I'm feeling. But until I get everything through and out of my system, this is how it's going to be. I have a whole show where I sit and I talk to y'all for an hour on Saturdays. I don't want to sit on my phone and talk to y'all for 10 minutes. You want to know what's going on with me? Ask me while I'm live on my show, damn it. Don't hit me up asking me nothing, because you're not going to get a response, because that's how I'm feeling.
Well, I mean, a lot of times, when someone knows that somebody's, I guess, single, or, because like what I explain to people all the time, and this is for men and women, you're not the only one attracted to the person you're with. And a lot of times you have a lot of people there that are just sitting in the corner just waiting for you to fuck up or just waiting for something to happen so they could just pounce or jump in or whatever the situation may be. So maybe they're not doing it right. They see that, you're going through what you're going through. But, also a lot of people understand, because I always tell people, and it's the way I feel, if you're in something, what's up?
I'm looking to see something real.
If you're in something and it was, real and it was serious, it should take time for you to get over.
Yeah.
It should take time for you to process everything that has happened and went through, for you to work on yourself.
Yeah.
So, but unfortunately, majority of times, people, the first thing they do is, when they say they don't have someone, the first thing they do is go run and jump under or on top of somebody else immediately.
I mean,
What's good, Craig?
I guess so. I just look. I opened up my POF. I went back on Plenty of Fish, and just going out there to see if there's anybody out there for me. I've come to the realization of this, and I put this on my Facebook page, and I was actually looking at you're not wearing Timbs right now, are you?
Absolutely not.
Okay. I am no longer affiliating or associating myself with men who wear shorts with Timberlands. I found that men who dress that way is no longer attractive. Like, I'm not attracted to that look. I'd much rather have more of a sophisticated, more of a grown look for a man, especially if he's in his 40s. The only guy that has reached out to talk to me was drunk at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and he was doing too much. So I see that I'm starting to get in tune with myself, because a lot of things that I would have thought was okay back then, now I'm starting to look at it like, I don't want nobody who's wearing, shorts and Timbs. I want somebody who don't have their pants hanging off their ass. I don't want to deal with a guy who's drunk at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't want to deal with somebody who does too much. Where are all the normal people out there, man? They're not on Plenty of Fish either.
I will say this. I say, if you're serious about dating, try a paid one. And the reason why I say paid one, it'll somewhat, what's the word I'm looking for? It'll get a lot of the weirdo, majority of the widows out of the way, because those are individuals that wouldn't be as, what's the word I'm looking for? As willing to run out there and pay to stalk people. They'd rather do it for free, because there's 7,000 free freaking dating
that
scenes
makes sense.
compared to someone else.
Okay.
Craig said, good, I like rock age. Rock age, I hope that's what you're trying to say. But all people that wear, that don't act like... Yeah, I was just about to get to that, Craig. And Prodigy said they're in college. Just because a person has Timbs or a expensive pair of shoes or a suit or a three-piece button-up, whatever it is, that's not going to stop who the person truly is.
Yo, it's hood. It's ghetto. If you're wearing shorts and Timberlands in the summertime, to me, that's ghetto. I don't want anything to associate with the ghetto or the corner or the block at all. I don't want a guy who anybody's going to look at and think he's out selling drugs. And that's what the attire is of most of these men in the summertime, hanging out by my block in shorts and Timbs and white t-shirts. I promise.
Okay.
I want somebody who, like, maybe some khakis and a button down, a little bit more sophisticated dress,
Yeah, Craig is stupid. Craig said half the people on POF is in the halfway house.
Yo, listen. I met one guy on POF, okay? We exchanged numbers. We had one conversation, and after that conversation, neither one of us hit each other back up. The very first question he asked me was, do you like white men? Now, this was a black man. What the fuck difference does it make if I like white men? Like, if I like white men?
Well, I mean, from this standpoint, it's a person who, and this is what I tell people, like, you shouldn't be afraid to ask anyone anything, and vice versa. This is a person, obviously, who wanted to know personally. Maybe he didn't like black women who have dated out of the race. You have some people out there, women who won't date black men like that, and vice versa. You have some people who believe that cultures should stick with each other. I'm a believer that believes is I don't give a fuck if the motherfucker's a Martian. If they treat you like a king or queen and make you feel loved, knock yourself out.
I mean, we didn't talk after that anymore. You know, I told him, no, I do not date outside of my race. And I asked him why the question even mattered. And
ACG's boots are fierce, Craig. Which is fire.
I like the Nike ACGs. Those are nice. But in the wintertime, with some jeans.
Well, put it like this. I'm from the Bronx.
The summertime with no shorts.
I'm from the Bronx.
I know
and
that's a Harlem thing.
we don't wear sneakers. I really just started wearing sneakers. Like, wear Timbs. Summer, 100 degrees, 3 degrees below, whatever situation may be, we're there, and it's our gear, our wear. It's what we like to, our uniform, if you would want to say it, in situations like that.
Hanging outside all day with a pair of suede boots on, with a pair of shorts. What do your feet smell like at the end of the day when you go home?
You gotta take care of yourself, shit. I mean, I seen people in suits that smell like ass.
Yeah, you know.
So, like I'm saying, what a person wears has absolutely nothing. Because, I always tell, when I talk to men about relationships and shit like that, I always tell them, I say it's not always the female you have to worry about. It's just the guys, too. What are you talking about? I've seen some nasty, dirty-ass niggas date some really nice women. So, if these niggas barely bathe, they don't wash their hands, and this chick is sucking and fucking and blowing and slurping and burping, and now you're a part of that. So, it's what I'm saying. There's a lot. I remember back in the days we did a show on hygiene, and people was like, well, it's not going to be a good show. I was like, it is. And then, the extent that, you don't know how, you have some people who don't wash with a rag. They wash with soap, but not with a rag. But I'm saying, there's so many things that go into it.
Listen.
I know I dated this girl, 15 years ago. And she stayed with, Summer Eve's wipes.
Yeah.
And she would go to the bathroom frequently. It wasn't to piss, it was to wipe herself. She always wanted to make sure she was ready and smelling fresh at all times.
Yeah.
Because she knew her body.
Yeah.
You have some that won't partake in
You know
a lot of shit.
It's sad that to this day, there are some women that still don't even know how to properly wash their vaginas.
Agreed.
And a conversation on hygiene is something that maybe we should bring up and talk about.
Whatever, let's do it.
There is an actual 3-step way how a vagina should be properly cleaned. A lot of people
now you gotta
don't
do
know.
a show next week on it.
Yeah. No, next week I was actually going to talk about. I wanted to, and if anybody is watching, I really need to get this popping.
Craig said his feet be smelling good at the end of the day with his boots.
Yo, you know what? Craig, go ahead and get you some Vapor Max. I just paid $220 for a pair.
I always have baby powder. So when I'm at work, because I walk around a lot, so I stay with baby powder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like I said, the little things. Keeping gum, particular type of candy, close hand, because you never know when a person, might pop up on you. And unfortunately, is as simple as it is, first impressions means a lot.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things that people can't forget.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a person having a bad day.
Oh my gosh. I gotta tell you.
What you got?
I met this guy 10 years ago. Shout out to Rashawn from Jersey City. Okay? 10 years ago. To this day, this man still calls me all the time wanting to get with me. The very first time I met him, I picked him up from a train station. He was coming back from Georgia on vacation. I met him on MySpace. I went and picked him up at Newark Penn Station, and this was my way of meeting him to bring him to Jersey City. This man took off his shoes in my car and stunk up my whole car. And to this day, I will not mess with that man, and he cannot understand why.
Well, why didn't you explain it to him?
I did. I've told him his feet stink many times.
Now, was he coming from a long distance?
Georgia. From Georgia.
All right, so there isn't a place on a train. I used to ride the train every summer to go back and forth to Louisiana because that's how I was getting pussy. Because you always fucking on the train.
Oh, my God.
Sorry, I used to always meet him. But it's just more like there's no shower there. Like you have to do take a rag, put some soap on it, and wash your balls and shit like that. And it's not like there's a shower where you could have washed your ass or made sure right.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe if you would have gave him another opportunity, but then again, first impressions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It didn't matter the fact that he was coming from Georgia, which is far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's about 20 hours on the train because they make stops. You know, you still remember that.
I'm sure he knew his fucking feet was smelling like that before he took
Probably
his damn
not.
shoes off in my
And,
car.
Tony said people who don't use their hands to wash and not a rag, you see, you don't trust them. But here's where you understand there's a lot of people who don't know better. And there are a lot of different cultures and a lot of different way people were brought up and raised. Like Africans, they wash daily. They just don't use deodorant. Some do, some don't.
Jewish people too.
You know what I mean?
Feel
So
like
it
that.
doesn't mean, again, like I said, it doesn't mean they're dirty. It's just that the fact that that's just what that culture doesn't believe in. But, you know, and because we are, grew up where we grew up and we are where we are, there are a lot of people who, you know, we used to deodorant and certain and specific things. So, you know, those are things that we don't second think. We don't
Right.
second guess. We know.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I ain't put deodorant, let me run to the store.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or whatever those situations may be.
Yeah. Well, so we'll talk about it with the cleaning thing, but you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Right.
Poor Rashawn, 10 years later, and this guy will probably be the one that put a ring on my finger, treated me right. Like I done had all these kids, and he's still calling me every single. I'm supposed to be going out with him tonight to Club Rain in Teaneck. Ashanti gonna be there, but I'm so like he's one.
What, to walk, not to sing, I hope. But get
Look, it's $40 a person to get in. She better be doing song.
No, I think she's super talented.
I
I will again. I say this. I think we have to understand at the end of the day that we are human beings.
Yes.
And we make mistakes, and we're not perfect, and we're gonna have off days. And I think a lot of times we prevent ourselves from being happy because we come up with all the excuses in the world. Cause like that dude, again, traveling from Georgia, it's not like the nigga just got out of the shower and his feet was smelling like that. Again, this man did a long ass travel. He went a long ass ways, and his feet wasn't all proper. But yet we've all been in relationships with people who treated us like shit, may have put their hands on us, never spent money on us, and we still fucking with them.
Me, that's. And I tell you what, perhaps maybe I should have given him a chance. I don't know. It was the feet thing, but if after a 20-hour ride of me sitting on my ass, a guy wouldn't expect for my ass to be smelling good if I stood up to give him a hug. You know, that's just making an excuse.
Well, I mean, like,
Imagine that.
man
I
was
go
just
to get
getting
the man a hug
comfortable,
and my ass air stinks.
well, I mean, and also a lot of times there are a lot of people who get I don't know what that commercial was. They get nose something where they don't smell because like you're on a you're on the train for 20 hours with a bunch of motherfuckers that ain't washed. So there's a smell that gets kind of like, all right, just like you've been at work and you know there's a lot of different medications and stuff being used.
Yeah.
You get numb to those smells now because you're used to smelling it.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, I can't do the Timbs in the summertime thing.
Right.
I'm not against Timbs. I just think about them hot things on your feet, and then I think about the smell of them by the time you take them off. You know, and that's just how it is for me. I want somebody a little bit more casually dressed. You know, I don't find the attire of shorts and boots acceptable for somebody who's going to be 38 on Friday.
I said that suit and tie nigga is a nigga that's gonna be a nigga who ain't wash his balls in 12 days.
Yo, you know what? Look.
Talking about some just kiss it or something.
Wherever he is. But it's something that, you know, I'm definitely looking to change about myself.
Right.
And it's one of the things, like I've always been attracted to that thug type. You know, oh my God, he's walking around with a bandana on his head with shorts on and tank top. Ooh.
Project said Tim's on the beach. Now that I've seen.
I've seen that country shit too, and
Well, I mean, like I said, it's what you've been accustomed to, and I believe at this point in time in your life, you're trying to redo and change what wasn't working.
Right,
So
yes.
I applaud you for putting your foot down
yeah.
to a certain extent and trying to get certain things right. So if these are where you're putting your foot down, then I say, if that works for you, you know, because you gotta try different things out until something eventually does work. So
Right. It's work. It's
give it a whirl.
It's gonna work. And I came up to this conclusion after the other day. I called and told my son's father, Cairo's father, who I actually want to do a whole show on next week on a segment called "Don't Date 'Em, Girl."
Lord have mercy.
I'm gonna need other females out there if you're watching. If there's any other guys that you want to put other females on to, let me know. They're going front and center next week on Grown Talk with Goddess, and we're gonna talk about why everybody else should leave them alone. But I asked him the other day if he could help me with some diapers for Cairo, and his response was, "I didn't want him. You wanted him. You get him diapers." After that shit, I was just like, "Yeah, that's a
What's good,
real-"
Juju?
And then not only that, Cairo was walking around saying "dad" now, you know, and he doesn't know that.
Right.
He's not even worth it to know. But like everything about the type of guy he is, I want completely opposite. I want a man who, if you got other kids and you're doing for your other kids, that I can call you and ask you to do for yours,
Right.
and there's not a problem.
He's
not a
not the only one. I mean, there's no one to blame, but he lied to you, but it's just. That's what I always say. Like, we need a proper courting time. Like, we should do a show about what do you think is the proper time it should take in order for you to like feel comfortable enough to really truly open up and you know, be yourself type situation around someone. But like I said, the person was dishonest, and you know, y'all slept together, and then you got pregnant, and now I can't say men, boys out here that consider situations like that package deals. I will only have him if you're attached, especially because you were the one that was sending the money, bringing the money, doing all kind of shit, paying his other child support,
Yep.
paying his rent and all this
Yep.
other shit. So
Yep.
it was more lines of keeping you, not the relationship.
But you know what the crazy thing to me is, and this is the reason why I'm still having a hard time accepting the fact that he broke up with me. I haven't given him money in 3 weeks.
Well, that's the fact. That's
That,
what it is.
like, do you think somebody is not smart enough to realize that the only reason why you not fucking with them now is because you can't dig your hand in their pocket no more? And then on top of that, like, if you're calling me, telling me you taking them niggas out to hang out and your mother's up here and everybody's with the family and my son ain't there, I'm not supposed to feel a way about that shit?
Well, I mean, hey, again, a person.
Yeah, his fucking mother will never see my son. His fucking sister, deadbeat ass aunt, will never see my son.
I mean, that's between y'all. But like I said, I always say a person will tell you one thing but show you something totally different.
Oh yeah,
And that's
yeah.
why I always tell people, trust what a person shows you, not what they tell you.
right.
If a person truly wants to be with you, be a part of your life, they'll show you it.
Yep. He's never shown me that.
But like I always tell you, not to say like as far as your defense, but I've been around a lot of women who've had multiple kids by multiple men, and you get pregnant, that's the last, you don't want another fucking repeat.
That's why.
You know what I mean? So you would want to work hard to...
I worked so hard. And to me, like, I'm sitting here going through Western Union receipts and Cash App receipts, and I'm adding up all of the money that I have given him from September last year to, you know, this year up to 3 weeks ago. And I'm thinking to myself, like, did you not think that after a while I was going to want to know, like, if I'm giving you all of this help, why aren't you... the nigga ain't even bought a pack of diapers for my son. Cairo was 5 months old. He's not even gotten a diaper, let alone time with his father. He's seen him 4 times since he's been born. But it's easier for him to call me and ask me for money than it is for him to make plans to see his kid. And to me, that's a deadbeat. And he's going front and center next week on Grown Talk with Goddess. Pictures and everything. Stay away from him.
Let's do it.
Stay away from him, ladies.
Let's do it.
All right, so get into this week's topic, one of them. And I want to hop right into the question that I put up on Facebook about wanting to fuck somebody one night, you know, wanting to be with them. Okay, has anybody ever wanted to just fuck someone, no strings attached, but has been scared to tell them. How do you let dude know? If he likes this post, I'm gonna let him know. Yep. And I checked his pics. No Timbs and shorts. I was excited about that. All right. So after everything was said and done, he ended up liking the post, and I went in on him. Let him know exactly how I feel. Like, nigga, I want you to fuck me. Yo, 3 or 4 days later, I'm sitting here like, last time I did this shit, I was at the hotel the next day. He told me okay in a couple of weeks.
Well, again, like I said,
What am I doing wrong?
It's not what you're doing wrong. It's obviously that's not a person that. It's what I tell. Like, there are people who truly want it, and there are people who don't want it. You know what I mean?
He wanted me while I was pregnant. Like, we made plans.
Well, maybe I don't know the person, so I'm coming to the person's defense also, to the point to where you have no idea what that person had going on that day.
That day, yeah.
You know, something or what's going on in their life, and then this person wanted you back then at that time, but now you're sitting here, free and stuff. Well, maybe he's not.
No, he is. He is 100%. I be stalking. I be watching. I be waiting. But my question after this was, do men not like women that are like, you know, like, or
it can be intimidating for a lot of men, because dudes talk hella shit all the time. How they want this aggressive, that aggressive, and then when they finally, you know what I mean, get a hold of it, you know what I mean, they don't know what to do, how to help, because the majority of women out here aren't like that. Men are always the aggressors, and
I'm learning from the best.
Yeah.
I'm learning from the best, and I'm also coming out of a relationship from a guy who claims he was like, no, I won't say that this week. A guy that claims he had problems and couldn't perform that way. I'm coming out of a relationship where in 18 months, we only had sex 3 times. You know, my coochie is ready. I wasted last summer being pregnant. I wasted half of this summer sending this nigga money and getting nothing in return. I'm ready. So excuse me for being a little bit more on the aggressive side.
But again, like, obviously this is not, you know, some guys, like I said, want to be the aggressor, the her, and you know, you are the one hitting them with it, and it's different. And you know, some guys like steak, some guys like liver. So
so would something like this intimidate you if you got a text message?
Well, not me. It wouldn't have texted me. Like, I'd have been like, you know, if I was in that situation, I'm single, and if someone reached out to me, was talking about, you know, whatever, and I was attracted to them, I'm ready. Whose place? Where are we meeting?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I'll take a shot when we get to the location. You know what I mean? Or whatever the situation may be.
Exactly. Like, I was feeling a little corny after, you know, because
Juju said he tried to get to know you. What happened?
He did. Juju lives very far away. He does. We've actually made plans.
You could drive to Brooklyn. You could drive to wherever Juju at.
He's like damn near Ohio, man.
Oh shit, Juju, you gotta meet up like halfway. That's like 5-6 hours, homie.
He's like, phew. He's very far away. But he did say he would be up here in October.
Oh, there you go.
You know, so when he does come up in October, I can't drink anymore because I have esophagitis. But
ain't nothing wrong. Ain't nothing. She could still give head, Juju. She just can't drink
I can't.
alcohol. So she could drink kids, just not alcohol.
But yes, he has offered to get to know me, and I think that's dope. Him and I have been friends a long time. We started out knowing each other from the sex groups on Facebook.
Right.
When they used to be allowed back then, and there was no blocking and Facebook jail. So he has seen me, and I've seen him.
Well, the sad thing about the whole Facebook thing, they will allow someone to go live and kidnap and kill people.
Yes.
But they don't allow sex group conversations.
No, they used to, and it used to be off the hook. I used to.
Juju say he don't drink anyway.
Okay, good. We rolling up. We rolling up.
Y'all motherfuckers gotta have Shirley Temples together.
But on this post that I put up on Facebook, it did generate a lot of comments, and mostly everybody was just saying, and the women too were saying, you know what, I think it's sexy that you're being more of the aggressor. You know, whereas the men were like, yo, if this nigga doesn't want you, something wrong with him, type shit.
Well, I mean, you have to know the individual you're being aggressive to. You know, like, there are a lot of people that want to be dominated, especially women. You know, a woman will lay in bed with a man and could want dick bad as shit, but will sit there and wait for him to touch her. She'll push her ass up on him all night long.
No, you know what? That's
instead
me.
of just grabbing the dick, putting it in her mouth, or getting it hard, whatever the situation may be, they'll sit there and rub their ass on your leg for 20 hours straight.
That is 100%
instead of doing
me.
exactly what the fuck they need to do.
I'm more submissive. I am that way 100%. So I think that's the reason why I don't know how to take this. Like when I messaged him, I mean, when I said this, he did comment on Facebook, but I've had his number for years. So I texted him, and that's when I let him know exactly what I wanted. And he was sending me monkey emojis with the eyes closed. And he also said that he was, what's the word that he used? Damn, what the fuck? Hold on, I gotta go. He used the word to make it seem as if, flattered. I'm flattered. I'm like, okay, I flattered you, but did I turn you on? Like, I just left the whole conversation just kind of confused. You know, last time I did this, as I said, I stepped out of my comfort zone and I went and pounced. It was with Jamie, and we had a great fucking sexcapade for like 2 years. It was excellent.
Right.
In fact, I wish I didn't leave that sexcapade to mess with this bum nigga I had a kid with just recently. But yeah, that was fantastic. I was the aggressor. I told him what I wanted. I got the hotel room from jump. And I think that's what messed up everything after that, because after I paid for the hotel room first, I just had to pay for it every other time after that.
All right, Craig made a good point. He said, I would like a female that wants me to let me know they want me,
Yeah.
but also let me chase. I mean, because I guess for his state, like, you, at the end of the day, you still want to be the man. You know what I mean? You still want to have that strong, beat him down stuff or whatever. But it's I kind of understand.
I'm horny, man.
But see, exactly. So it was just more lines of, you're the same individual that'll sit there and say, you know, you'll rub your ass on a nigga leg all day long instead of, you know, just hopping on it or getting it rock or whatever situation may be. But then, you know, it's just at the point in the state that you've come out of a relationship where
it was whack.
you were, you know, trying your hardest to be faithful and not step out. And now that you're not in one, you're free to do whatever you want. So now you're like, yo, I didn't eat 12 weeks, nigga. Like, I'm hungry. You know what I mean? Like
you just don't want to give it to. You just don't want to give it to any random. Like, okay, for instance, the guy who called me sounding drunk yesterday, I have dinner reservations. He's taking me out for my birthday to the Chart House.
nice.
I chose the restaurant. He said, wherever you want to go, you make a reservation, you let me
Why
know.
would you choose there?
The Chart House?
Yes.
Because it's expensive and I want to know if he has money.
See, and that him having money has absolutely nothing to do with how he's gonna fucking treat you.
Obviously not. He's calling me yesterday asking me for breast milk and drunk at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
But you picked the expensive restaurant just to see about the money situation. It wasn't the fact that you know what I mean, you know he can actually afford that type of deal or budget or whatever the situation may be.
Listen, he better come up with a way to try to afford it between now and Friday night because we going. And
you'll be a hungry motherfucker.
the chances are that I probably won't even, I mean, maybe we'll talk a little bit after the birthday. He's been trying to get with me too, but he's another one, to me, in my opinion, he be doing too much. You know, he calls me, oh my God, I've never spoken with a live goddess before. What the fuck do you want, man?
Craig says she just need a strong one-nighter.
Yes! Yo, that is it. And that was what I said on my post. Like, look, this dude here, we ain't got to do nothing after the night. You're Jamaican. I like the shape. He got legs shaped like yours. Like the legs that come out like... I like them bow legs. I like that. I find that attractive. He got them legs like that. I just want to see what you can do with them. That's it. That's all I want to know.
What the legs got to do with his skill level or not?
Y'all heard bow-legged men know how to use them legs and them hips the right way.
Okay.
I'm used to a 6'9" nigga who can only fuck from the back. So we need something a little bit more stepped up, you know, a little bit more, a little bit more. And then he's Jamaican, put some music on, you know. my ex, this nigga don't know what it feels like to be ridden by me. He doesn't know what it's like to be on top and throw my legs back behind my head. The 4 times that we've had sex in 18 months, I took back shots. And I'm gonna make sure I tell my son, I got pregnant off of you by taking fucking 4-minute back shots. I need something a little bit more, you know.
So I hate when women do that.
I said it, I was saying it when we was together.
Not on here, you wasn't saying it.
Man, listen, I've talked about our sex while
You talked
we were
about
together.
the lack of, not you know.
Look, I'm not saying that they weren't good 4-minute back shots. I'm not.
And what was that TV show a long time ago with Robert Townsend? Lake Arrington is a tiger for 6 seconds.
Yo, I'm not saying that they weren't good. And to be honest with you, I'm not really one, like, where men last a long time anyway, especially if we're not using protection. They normally come quick as hell. I don't know what hour-long sex is. I don't know what 30-minute sex is. I barely know what 20-minute sex is. If you wear a condom, we fucking maybe 15, 20 minutes. Without one, you're nothing just like this. And that's that's the story of my life. That's how it's always been with me. And that's the reason why these niggas get up in there, dribble, and I have so many fucking kids. That's it. And I'm being honest, and that is the truth.
Exactly, Juju. Juju's like, damn, 4 minutes.
Yes. Yes, if that.
Well, I mean, a lot of times, because, like, I remember, and I've always been honest about this, I think the quickest for me was like 45, 50
Quickest?
seconds.
Oh,
It was like a minute. Like, yeah, like, she did me like, no, because I've known this woman for a couple of years. We've dated, but we never actually did anything as far as penetration. Mm-hmm. I left Louisiana, came back to the Bronx, and then I went back like that summer to visit. Mm-hmm. And it was like, yo, it has to happen, man. It has to happen. So I went, took my nephew's car, picked her up, brought her back to the house, and I couldn't get hard for shit.
see?
It was like I was nervous. Like, I was super attracted to her. Mm-hmm. I thought she was beautiful. But I'm just like, I'm literally shaking. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I understand. She's like, I undressed myself. She took that skirt off, that ass popped out. My shit said, we are ready. So I was like, all right, good, no problem. I said, yo, this is the first time we ever had sex. It has to be right. Back shots. I got 2 pumps in, it was over.
Sound like Cairo father.
She rammed me. Mm-hmm. Her ass went up, down, left, right, side, side, side. My shit said, sploop.
Yep. That's how it is.
It was like, what
That's how
the
it
fuck
is.
is happening?
Listen, I prefer not to give a nigga back shots, because for me, very quick. But I also, am thinking, not only have I been sex deprived, sex length deprived, I kind of want to be made love to. We talked about this.
Love niggas for birds.
And during that time, that show was the show that I was saying I've never been made love to.
Right.
And I was saying how I only just be getting 4-minute back shots. So I did say it before.
You ain't saying no 4-minute back shots. I ain't letting you have that
Listen,
one.
man.
But no, like I said, I understand what you're talking about. But as far as this, the topic, I would say we've all met people. Like, for me, I'm a Gemini. I can tell when I'm around a Sagittarius. I can always tell when I'm around a Sagittarius. Like, Michelle's a Sagittarius. So that first night we met,
We heard.
like, I was hot and bothered. You know what I mean? And I can always tell when I'm around a Sagittarius, because the Sagittarius and the Geminis has the greatest sexual tension with each other. And it was so bad that I remember working at Grand Lux Cafe, and there was this bad dyke there. And me and her almost fucked. Because it was just like, she was like, I don't know what the fuck it is. And she was fucking Sag. You know what I mean? So we have that. So I understand sometimes you just like, yo, I don't know what it is about you, but damn.
That's how I feel about
sexy
him.
as hell right now.
Yes.
So, but if you reached out to him and nothing really came about you know what I mean, I would say just,
Womp, womp, womp.
yeah, just, you know, move on, continue to try to find another situation that's convenient for you, and don't just, because I understand, like, it was a point to where you just haven't had and you want, but you want to make sure it's at a situation, because I always tell people all the time, if you're with someone that you truly care about, the sex will always be good, compared to someone where it's just all about a physical thing.
Yeah.
Because I always say after you nut, it's over. But when it's someone you actually give a fuck about,
Yeah.
you're like, damn, let me get him a rag.
Yo, listen.
Damn, is she cold? You know what I mean?
Sex with my other kid's father, always good. Always. And that nigga lick pussy like, just do that. We ain't even got to do nothing else. But we just can't, you know, be together in that way. I even thought about calling him like, yo, Henry, look, just real quick, come by, you know, but on some respect, shit, we haven't touched each other, you know, it's not like that with us. But I am looking for better, and I want more, and I'm not trying to sell myself. So I did this, and I put this up to find out if there was anybody else who was feeling kind of like how I felt women-wise, like how the ladies feel about it. And they were all for like, more or less so like, yo, Kara, go for yours and get yours. Him and I kind of flirted a little bit on this post.
Right.
You know, and I also text messaged him afterwards, and he did, I don't know. I don't know how to take what he said, but he said a couple of weeks. By then, I'm going to have my back broken already.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, again, like, you know, from a standpoint, you have to find a situation, like I said, that works for you.
Yeah.
And your situation. And if this one doesn't, then, hey, you know, I'm sorry for you. But, you know, again, at the end of the day, not everybody is meant for that particular day and time or whatever situation. And you just, like I said, just, you know, move on and continue to find something that works for you.
I will. All right, guys. So we're going to bring up the next topic, which I really don't know too much about. But I got an anonymous question in regards to divorce. So I wanted to bring it up. I've never been married. Shit, I'm just trying to get fucked. But if there's anybody who has been married, please feel free to chime in. I know Tony, like always, made sure he commented on this. So, divorce. What do the ladies and even men feel about divorce? Who gets the assets? Does a man look like less of a man because he won't sign the divorce papers without leaving empty-handed? Normally, women get the kids in the home. Has anyone ever been in a situation where the man is acting like a bitch and won't sign because he doesn't want to lose money or pay alimony? Chime in.
I say this. Divorce is a lot of times people are married for the wrong reasons. And eventually with time, you know, people get exposed. Mm-hmm. And because of, you know, that type of, you know, situation and things like that, you know, the marriage only lasts for a short period of time. I will say this. I don't believe a woman deserves any of a man's money, especially because they didn't earn it, unless, like, she is a true at-home wife. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that, I mean is cooks, cleans, takes home the kid, takes care of the kids. And I'm not talking about nannies or maids or whatever the situation may be, because staying home and taking care of everything is shit. That's a true job there. It's not easy. But and it also depends. I would say this: there are times where a woman does hold a man down. Mm-hmm. Throughout his trials and tribulations. It deals with a lot of the ups and downs, and you know, I do think women are entitled to a certain degree of money. Yes, I will say I agree with that. Okay. But I will also say I don't like how women will get married, get divorced, and all of a sudden, if she's, let's say 25, we get married 2 years, and the courts will tell you she deserves half your money because you have gotten her used to living that lifestyle. And I say bullshit. She's 25. She lived with me for 2 years. Mm-hmm. I would think 25 years of that bullshit she was dealing with overweighs the 2 years we've been dating. So she would be far more used to dealing with that other shit than this. But then again, like I said, there are a lot of situations where women do deserve something.
Right.
But what kills me is when the roles are reversed, men want to talk shit about the men. Like, for instance, when Mary J. Blige's husband was going through that, he a broke-ass nigga, he this, he that. Okay, she took care of him, though.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't she continue to take care of him?
Not after they've been divorced.
I don't give a fuck. Men do it all the time. I was one of the main ones saying, nigga, get that fucking money. Women been doing it for fucking years, get yours.
Let me, just from my experience, a mother and father were divorced. They have 4 kids. 3 of my mother's kids were born okay. My sister, which is Keisha, was born right before me. The doctors ended up using forceps that crushed her skull. So she was born with a handicap after being delivered. My mother and my father sued for hella money. To this day, it's still coming in. They're divorced. They have access to... A part of their divorce agreement was that my mother was to leave, but they used the assets that come from my sister's money to be able to buy themselves both a car.
Sustain, right.
Right. My dad is, he lives up in the World Plaza in Prospect Ave, and they accepted it because it has an elevator to get her up and down and all this other stuff. When I was younger, my father used to drive around in a van with a wheelchair ramp to get her in and out the car. That was a part of their divorce agreement. And they've been divorced now 20 years, and they both still agreed that they're going to be able to have this money, and God forbid anything happens to my sister, it's split in ways where everybody, gets what's left. And if it was me after my father cheated, I wouldn't have given him shit. He wouldn't have had access to none of that. Let that have been my husband, because my mother was the one who was taking care of my sister, making sure she was going to the doctor, making sure she had everything she needed. My father was in Brazil all the time and only came up here on a 6-month visa because my dad is not an American citizen. He's a Brazilian citizen. So he, was here and back every 6 months. He had to come. He was only allowed to come every 3 months. And a lot of people don't know that about me. My dad's Brazilian. He was able to come 3 months, but he had to leave. And this has been my entire life. Now, I'm in a husband where, I'm in a marriage where we're in this relationship together. We're worth millions of dollars, and my husband's out cheating on me. You're not getting nothing. Nothing.
I mean, in that situation, every situation is different. You have a lot of people with forgiving hearts, and you have some without them. So I understand what you're saying from that standpoint.
And you can ask Prodigy. Like, she's been a part of my life a long time. She knows my sister. She knows the situation. She knows about all the money. My mother and father walk around here, acting like it's nothing. And at the end of the day, my father still doesn't treat my sister as if she's nothing more than just a fucking dollar sign.
Well, I mean, like me personally, because my mother stole my money, I ain't cool with parents touching kids' money anyway.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, that's just me.
Yeah.
So, but that's what they're doing, and it works for them. And as long as the child is being taken care of, I'm like, cool. She has everything. She doesn't have any wants and needs.
Yeah.
But
I ain't giving him.
I would say, when it comes to divorce, as long as you can prove that you have been a great individual, if you can prove that you've done everything in your power to try to make the relationship work, then I say yes. But unfortunately, you have so many people getting married for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And, I always think it's kind of crazy when it comes to marriages, it's always, a lot of times, well, not always, I apologize. A lot of times there's always what can I benefit from it?
Yeah.
Of this and that. Because I remember having a conversation with a woman about traditional wedding, and she said she wants a traditional wedding. She wants a big wedding, this and that. And I'm like, well, do you know what a fucking traditional wedding is?
Bride.
She said, yeah, it's when you have a big marriage and this. I said, no. A traditional wedding, the way it's supposed to be, is when the bride's family pays for the wedding, the groom's family pays for the honeymoon.
Yep.
So that's what you want, right? So you want something you have absolutely no idea what the fuck it is. You just want somebody to fucking take care of your ass. And that's what bothers me, because I always talk to my son and I tell him, you don't take care of no grown-ass adult that's not your child.
I'm glad.
And anybody that tells you or asks you to buy them something that they can't afford themselves, tell them they out of this motherfucking world. You out of your mind. If you can't afford it, why the fuck you want me to get it?
Right. No, I get it. I wanted to read some of the comments. Shout out to Robin Faulkner. She said, my husband didn't want to sign the papers. I told him I didn't care because I'm still leaving if he signs or not. The day I walked out of my house with my clothes and the pictures of my kids, that was it. I left him everything and asked for nothing in return. I didn't make more. She said I did make more money than him, though. I guess that plays a role. Chris Jones, shout out to him. He says marriage license should expire like any other state license.
Facts, man.
To give people the options to part ways or renew.
Facts, yo, that is intelligent. Yo, shout out to my man right there.
Chris
I've
Jones.
never heard it before, but that makes all the sense in the fucking world.
It does.
Could you
every
imagine
4
having every couple of years you had to renew your love or whatever the situation may be?
That's dope. Imagine how many people would walk away from it.
Yeah, they wouldn't be married. You know what I mean?
Word.
Because you'll be put into a situation where you would actually have to prove that you truly got married for the right reasons.
Right. Shout out to Tony, him and his essay. He said, divorces should be proceeded upon with the sound mind in the best interest of both parties. It is hard to do that. However, because the husband can be in the wrong or the wife could be. I'm all for joint custody, but not if one of the parents has a serious addiction that puts him or her and the kids at risk. Honestly, there are way too many factors to determine who gets what, why they should and why they shouldn't receive this at all. All I know is marriage is looking a lot less attractive nowadays. A legal piece of paper and the ceremony with family and friends is not that serious. We were just talking about marriage right before we started, and I said I wanted to do it because I've never done it before.
Right.
I also said that if I was married and divorced, I'd probably never want to get married again. It's something that I want to do only because I want to know before I die, before I leave this earth, that somebody loved me enough to commit to me in that way. These motherfuckers aren't doing nothing but leaving me kids. And that is not commitment. It's a commitment for me because while they walking around with their t-shirts, Timbs, and shorts on, I'm here taking care of the kids by myself while they out in the hood doing whatever in the projects.
Well, that's why I say, we need to get back to the 70s and 80s marriage ways of life again, to where you couldn't get pussy from a woman
Unless you were married.
And that's where, there was some serious courting. You had to meet the mother, to meet the father. You had to sit there and talk to the family. You had things to go through and things to discuss. And, nowadays, unfortunately, your kids are dating and you have absolutely no idea they had a boyfriend.
Right, yeah. It's true. But you know what, though? I will say, my little daughter, she's now had like her third boyfriend. The first one I met, I took him to Disney with us when we went to Disney.
She left him already?
Well, they were together 3 years, and she felt like she superseded his maturity level. So after 3 years, they broke up. They were broken up when we went to Florida. That was tough seeing her go through that.
Why the fuck was you still bringing
Because
him?
I had already agreed to.
I don't give a fuck. Why would you make him?
Tickets.
Give her fucking money back. Why would you put your daughter in that shit?
I felt bad. I thought that, maybe they can reconcile.
Fuck out of here.
After that, she met
That's
another
probably why
guy.
your daughter stopped talking to you.
She texted me now like, when you coming home, the baby crying. But, my kids are pretty much open about who it is that they're dealing with. I wish I could instill in their mind, like, yo, do not give nobody your precious cookie until you're married. But then they're looking at me like, bitch, you got all these fucking kids. What type of example is you trying to set? And what can I say? Can't say nothing. Can't even argue with them. You're right. But that should be all you need to see. I didn't get married, and I was giving my cookie out, and in return, I got a whole bunch of fucking bums who don't want to buy $2 pack of wipes. So, I'll be trying to just put a little bit of everything in my kids' minds. But as far as the whole divorce topic, I didn't really know too much about it. I got some example. Some.
Right.
I'll
I
leave
mean,
it up on
again,
my
like I
Facebook
said,
page for a while.
unfortunately, unless you can prove she's a fucking crackhead, the mother's gonna get custody of the child, and yes, you're gonna be put on child support and all these other things. Mm-hmm. And I just like I tell people all the time, like don't worry about that financial situation of it. Like just take care of your kids. It's not about you and her relationship anymore. It's about the kids and making sure your kids understand and know who and what you are, what type of person you are, and then let that go. It'll fix itself eventually.
Okay. And then the last topic that we're going to talk on real quick before my kids call the police on me for leaving the baby with them is one that Tony just gave me a little while ago. Shout out to Tony. I love you, my silly friend. These are all of the Grand Theft Autos. I've played them. I've had them. I do remember after Vice City came out, there was a lot of news about people waking up in the middle of the night wanting to kill people in their homes and, how do people feel about that? And with everything that's going on in this world today, in our country, they're still using video games as the reason why, or the excuse as to why a lot of these mass shootings and things are going on. If anything, I don't know if it would have been Grand Theft Auto. It would have been more of like a Call of Duty type thing to me, but that's more based on war, whereas Grand Theft Auto is a fun game. Shit, my kid's been playing it forever. We have it on the PS4. We have it on the Xbox One. I like Grand Theft Auto. I sit and I play it. But why is it that they're blaming these video games on what's going on and not it being these crazy, sick white parents that aren't disciplining their kids?
Shit to do with white. I
Yes,
will
it
say
does.
this
'Cause
from
ain't no
a
black
certain
kid walking up in no damn school.
Well, because they got
shooting
5,000 fucking metal detectors. They know they can't get them in there. I will say this.
That ain't true.
I think that is true. Because black motherfuckers know in the hood you ain't getting no gun in there anyway, so ain't no reason to bring one to school.
Listen.
And when these white shits where they give you flowers and candy at the fucking door, you can walk in there with an AK-47 underneath your motherfucking trench coat. Yeah, so it is a bit. It ain't
But what
about
about walking into
white
Walmarts
or
and
black.
movie theaters and shit? It's all white people doing that.
White people do mad shit. Black people just kill the motherfuckers that piss them off. But I will say, I think this is coming from the, what do you call those? The gun companies.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is they have to take some heat off of themselves. They don't want people to put stricter rules about gun control and all these other things. I remember Jeff did a show, and I tell Jeff, anyone that should buy a gun should have to go through a psychiatrical evaluation.
Of course.
Period. But of course, they don't want that because it's all about finance. It's sad as much as people want to say how great America is. America is built on greed, where they allow so much shit to happen for other people to fatten their pockets. And here's the thing what you have to understand about America. America will let you die because you don't have enough money to purchase that medication. But Canada will save you at all costs for free.
No.
Canada
All
will
their
save you for
health care
free.
out there is free. The doctors
Canada will
and
save you for
everything.
free. But in America, if you can't buy the medication, you're just a dead motherfucker.
So sad. I got a couple of comments on this. Chevy James, shout out to him. He said, right, but they sell guns and ammo at Walmart.
Agree, but you can't find CDs with curse words.
Exactly. Dane Black said, because white mothers and fathers can't and won't take blame for their fuck-ups, but are quick to judge the home and family structure of our own misguided youth. True. True. Tony, he said they need a scapegoat to blame instead of addressing the actual issue with these violent ass kids. Shifting the blame on something that doesn't make people become murderers. It starts at home with the lack of parenting, bullying at school, alcoholic, abusive parents, etc.
I say whip your kid's ass. It changes a lot of shit in the motherfucking world.
I saw a meme that said the reason why black kids don't do this is because they know their mother woke up in the school like their whole government name. Kara Jones, what did you just do?
I think it's more lines of, again, like, there are certain things that we, as our culture, are told we're allowed to get away with. compared to things as our culture we're not allowed to get away with.
Right.
Our culture is taught that in order to have money or be successful, you have to work at these specific type of jobs. It can't be a doctor, lawyer, or anything like that. It has to be, a bus driver. So nothing wrong with it. But, a lot of the things done are coming from you can only fit into this category. Certain situations compared to you could be any and everything you want. And it just doesn't happen.
Well, I will say, it's not. I mean, it's obvious that the majority of these mass shootings are being taken place by white people. Tony said ass whoopings are very important as a kid.
Well, I like to tell you, like, you have to have the natural fear. And I always tell people all the time there's a very, very, very big difference between abuse and discipline. And it kills me how people want to follow only certain shits in the Bible, where the Bible tells you to fuck your kids up. It tells you, spare the rod, spoil the child. It tells you discipline. Again, that's a child.
Yeah.
They need to be taught right from wrong.
Yeah, I don't
Not
spank
that
my
they can
kids.
call you. I think I plucked his ass. He can't stand that plucking shit. But like, I'm a very aggressive person, so I don't really have to put my hands.
Right.
You know what I mean?
look at my kids a certain way and they stop. Like the most my son didn't take the garbage out on Thursday. So Friday and Saturday he's been without Xbox.
So you do
He
it.
cannot play his game. He's
Like me,
at
I would
like-
take an ass whipping from my mother in a heartbeat if I couldn't go outside. You know what I mean? But you take certain things from, so I agree.
Right. So, instead of that, but I will say that me and my little sister, we had our ass whooped. Like, we got beat. Fuck spankings. We got beat when we were growing up, and we did know better than, to do that. We also never grew up with guns in the home, and I think that's another issue, too. For whatever reason, it seems like every single one of these mass shootings, they always had guns in homes. Like, they had easy access to the guns that they were using, that they were going to go, so we didn't grow up that way with the guns in the house. So Hackensack High School was safe to go to. When I graduated in 99 from there, they didn't even have locks on the doors. My daughter is going to be a sophomore. My son's going to be a freshman there. And you can't even get into school no more the way you used to be able to.
Well, like I say again, it's turned. It's different. Everybody, it's cool to be a thug. It's cool to be a gangster. It's cool to sell drugs. It's cool all this other shit. Until you serving 20 years in jail while everybody else out having steaks and shit, you getting Elio's pizza on Friday nights.
Yeah.
So it's just more lines of like, you have to look at the pros and cons. And like I said, teach your kids. You can be whatever you want. And I say it on a regular basis. Library is free. You ain't got to have the greatest computer in the world, this and that. You go to the library, apply for a job, get any and all kind of knowledge you want. It's right there in your fucking fingertips.
Yeah.
Just go out there and get it.
Yeah. So I will say, as far as this goes, just to wrap up this topic, the video games being an excuse or a scapegoat, that's the reason why things are going on, is bullshit. Home training, maybe Trump influenced some of that, a lot of it, most of it, all of it. But other than that, I don't think it's any of the video games.
I mean, I wouldn't just say home training. It's life experience. I will say that also.
I got
You know what
bullied
I
in
mean?
school. I didn't walk up in there with an AK-47 and
Well, it's different because you went home and you got bullied by your brothers and sisters anyway. It was a regular old fucking day. But if it ever got too bad to a point that you had to call your brothers and sisters in, they would end the shit. You know what I mean? But there are a lot of times you knew who to bully, who not to bully.
yeah.
So like I said, there are a lot of fucking things.
I'm surprised Prodigy ain't saying nothing. Prodigy,
Well, she just said, when you talk about who kids, don't get me started shaking my head or whatever.
yeah, she got bullied in high school a lot. And I remember she picked up a desk and threw it at somebody.
Hey, you reach your point all the time. I was bullied. I was bullied a lot until I brought a butcher knife to school and that shit stopped.
Then he turned into the little potato with a knife.
Well, now it was just more lines of like I took it, and I something else. The switch went off. I went home. I got a knife. I went to school, and I probably would be just getting out of jail. If the teacher didn't grab my hand from stabbing that child to death that was bullying me. And from that point on, everyone knew. Because like one or two tried it afterwards and I stopped it immediately. But I just had to get to that point to where I was like, because at that I used to get beat to go to church, and church tells you to turn the other cheek and this and that, and you try to live a certain way. And none of that shit worked until that fucking butcher knife, and that shit ended.
You know what? I can't with you. my daughter's boyfriend actually brought a knife to school. They arrested him in front of everybody.
Of course.
In school.
Well, you have to show the repercussions of certain situations. Like I remember, I was the receiving manager for Kmart, the one that closed down on Route 4. Mm-hmm. And shout out to Scott, but Scott was a fucking asshole. But I understand why he did it. He shut the store down and called the entire store to the front to watch this chick who was stealing out of the register get arrested. To show everybody that this is what the fuck I would do to you.
Oh my God, yo.
So again, he did what he had to do to show or teach a lesson for someone. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it was a very valuable lesson. Nobody else sold out that motherfucker when Scott was the fucking manager.
Oh, she was an employee?
Yeah, she was an employee.
Oh, hell to the no.
Now she was stealing out of the register. He called that's why he called the entire employees, everybody up front. And told the cop, okay, now you can put the cuffs on it. Oh, shit. And explain what was going down, why it happened, and this is the reason why. Oh, yeah. And he told everybody, and this is for anyone else that's thinking of stealing from me, there's a lot of room for y'all. These guys have free gas. They'll come whenever it's needed.
I'm not dealing with that embarrassment. Fuck that.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, in a lot of embarrassments, like you say, as far as the minorities, they knew the wrong fucking parent get called. They coming up there and they embarrassing the shit out of you.
Yo, my father had a Jerry curl back in the day, okay? My father used to come pick me up from school with tight jeans. Yeah.
He was
tight jeans.
He's Brazilian with
well, he had Jerry curl. You know, they got that naturally curly hair. And he used to just keep it wet with the yellow Carefree curl. My father used to come pick me up from school with the jeans. He always folded them and ironed them so that the line was going down the middle.
Had the crease. Oh, yeah.
The crease and the Jerry curl. I don't know if Craig remembers. He might. But my father, was one that nobody messed with. Like, when boys used to come to my house or try to sneak and see me, my father would chase them up the street with baseball bats and shit. That was embarrassing. But after a while, you know, you get to start to tell them, like, yo, don't even come by my crib. Don't even try.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, we don't talk to our kids about sex and other things, and that feeling they get when they're around certain, like a boy or a girl, and their ass is fat or whatever situation may be, and we don't understand what we're watching.
Yeah.
Kids are a sponge.
Yeah.
You can't tell a kid to turn off like he sees a chick with a fat ass or a nice face or someone he like, and then he starts having movement in his drawers and his boxes and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to explain to them certain situations. And like females, when they start to get a little turned on and wet and they start to feel a certain way they ain't never felt before, and they don't know what's going on. And they're like, you need that conversation because, again, way back before our parents' like kings and queens days or whatever, women were married off as soon as they had their fucking period.
Yeah.
And that was the age of 10, 11, 12 for a lot of motherfuckers. And a lot of these, what do you call it? Civic, or I forgot what the right for that culture. You know, the kids were married off when they were 15, 16-year-olds to 40, 50-year-olds.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
And like, you wonder where you go to the, because we're in the tri-state area. So if you go to the, Bergen Township Mall and you go to Century 21, all you see is acidic women in there.
Hell
and they're young, but there's 12 kids.
Old Navy too? The
yeah.
motherfuckers be all over.
And there's like 12 kids, and the chick look like she's like literally 31 years old.
Yeah,
And she
yeah.
has 7 kids.
Yeah.
And they're all back to back to back
So
to
everybody
back
be
to back.
asking me if I'm Jewish.
I don't know what you are, but it's all right.
All right, guys. We'll get ready to wrap this up because my kids are sending me videos of my son's face close up crying and his little lips moving and he's saying dada, and it's not funny, it's sad, but you know, it is what it is. Those are the breaks when you have children. But you gotta want to make sure next week you tune in. Unless, and I highly doubt it's gonna happen, this nigga fucking makes a miraculous change between now and next Saturday. I am putting him, his mother, his sister, the whole fucking Jameson family on blast. And it's gonna make me feel better as a person. It really is. It is. It's gonna make me feel better. If I can save the next chick some money in her pocket, or save the next chick 4 minutes and you pregnant now and now you stuck with this nigga for the rest of your life, I'm gonna try my best to do that for the next person. So make sure you tune in. If there's anybody else that anybody wants to throw up on big screen and let everybody know not to deal with, make sure you get me their picture and their information. I will put it up here and let it be known. It could be anonymous. I don't give a fuck. I'm letting everybody know. Pictures and everything about who you should stay away from. Straight the fuck up like that. Shut up, LaToya. Talk about Follow the Drip, Soul Glow. Talking about my dad in chat. But all right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's edition of Grown Talk with Goddess. Thank you, True.
Always.
Thank you so much for being here with me. I'll see you guys next week.